Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/WCSN312. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Hey guys, this is Harry and Ralph from Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go.
We are a video game podcast that releases content every Sunday, alternating between full game reviews and general gaming conversation.
Our reviews include in-depth analysis on plot, audio, graphics, and gameplay. We throw in little-known facts on the game development. We provide uncomfortable sexual tension, harassment towards each other while being analytical about the game of the week, and endless, poorly executed impersonation.
Find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go, where sensitivity is a foreign concept.
They say humans are social animals. They can't live alone. But you can live pretty well by yourself. I tell you, instead of feeling alone in a group, it's better to have real solitude all by yourself.
Chicago, thank you, and welcome to WCSN, the Windy City Sports Network. I'd like to take this moment to talk about our social media outlets and the platforms you can listen and find us on. You can follow us on Twitter at WCSN312. Like us on our Facebook at Windy City Sports Network or at WCSN312. We also recently just joined Instagram, and you can follow us there at WCSN312 as well. We post all our shows to listen to on our social media outlets. If you're driving to work, you're driving back home from work, working out, or just chilling at home, pop on your headphones. You can listen to us on many platforms. Number one is iTunes. Our goal is to become a top 100 podcast. We need your help. By going on iTunes, rate us by giving us 5 stars and subscribe. We're on Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, our original platform, SoundCloud, Overcast, Castbox, Podbean, the podcast app, and most recently, Google Play. Search for Windy City Sports Network and you'll find us there. All platforms are free to you and available on iOS or Android phones, tablets, Apple TV, or any mobile devices or computers. We are beginning to do quick live pre-shows on our social media outlets, so make sure you follow or like us there. We will be live on Periscope, which is via our Twitter, and Facebook Live before every live broadcast. Lastly, you can watch us live. Interact with us via the chat rooms on our newly launched YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, search Windy City Sports Network, and subscribe to our channel. You can watch us live or watch any of our older podcasts there. We created our YouTube channel for you, our fans, to interact with us during our shows. Ask us any questions, and we will spew our opinions. We will be broadcasting CSCR, Chicago Sports Crunch Radio, every Friday at 7 p.m. live. And bi-weekly, every Wednesday at 7 p.m., Wrestle Talk Radio will be live. Only on our YouTube channel, so subscribe now. If you have any questions, you can use our social media outlets or email us at windycitysportsnetwork@gmail.com. Like I have said many times before on this show, this is a passion project. We don't make any money off of this, and we have expenses, equipment, distribution costs, etc. If you guys enjoy our show and would like to buy us a beer, you can, and it would be greatly appreciated. Go to our Patreon page, become our patron, and you can donate as much as you want. We will have rewards updated monthly in return. Just go to our Patreon page at Windy City Sports Network. Again, remember, we are WCSN, the Windy City Sports Network, built by the fans, for the fans. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SCR Chicago Sports Crunch Radio. This is the show that brings to you the highlights of the sports world and industry, from the NBA, NFL, MLB, EPL, and so much more. CSCR is here to focus on local sports in the Windy City, from the Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. We're here to talk sports to the true fans of Chicago. We are live here from Studio One at WCSN, the Windy City Sports Network. This is CSCR Chicago Sports Crunch Radio. It is see
the mic. There you go.
That's why I wanted you to sit on that side, but I'll just do it higher, get my posture up. Hey, Jay. He was never subscribed to our channel. He just subscribed.
There you go.
What's happening, guys? Big Nick Cold.
Jackman's here. Boxing, guys. Boxing today,
Jackman's favorite
tonight.
subject.
Yeah, I like boxing.
So we are doing a second surprise show because we really haven't talked too much about boxing as of late. We did throw in there in a couple shows, I think a couple weeks ago, Jackman.
Yeah, we did.
Some boxing, but not too much. And then I know the last week we didn't. We ran out of time, so we didn't do much there either. But we want to cover it now because there's a lot of fights that we want to cover and a lot of fights that are upcoming. And we wanted to make sure we cover some of those before we get into it. Bull is another huge fan of this stuff too. So I'm pretty excited for some of these upcoming fights, especially one, which I'll talk about when we get to it. That's going to be real exciting.
Right.
And Jackman knows which one it is. I'm actually going to buy his hat, I think. Did you know he's sponsored by Under Armour?
Oh, okay.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, I did. I seen him advert.
You know he has the hats too? The Under Armour hats?
No,
Yeah, that's what this is, Under Armour. Man, what if we got these guys as a sponsor? They'd give us like free stuff.
Oh, man.
We can like for wear free Under Armour stuff all the time. But in any case, boxing. This episode is going to be strictly boxing. We did the other episode before, which we covered local sports and national, which we did just finished. But this will be all boxing. Quick show, not too long. We have been trying to keep our shows to 30, 40 minutes. We're going to try to do that now, which we'll see what the traction is. Who knows? If we get a lot of views on this one, Jackman,
right,
then maybe we should start shortening the shows down more and making specific shows on specific topics, and maybe more views will watch it. And stuff.
I think so, because I think certain people want to listen to certain topics specifically. Boxing's more of a niche sport. You either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
Right.
So we will be going over a lot of those boxing fights. Jackman's got a bunch of fights that he wants to talk about and go over. I don't have to talk about my spiel anymore because we do that now in the beginning of the show. So we don't have to really go over any of the social media stuff, which is pretty cool. So you guys know where you guys can hear us. The only thing I ask from you guys is spread the word, go out there, help us out on Patreon, on our Patreon page, and obviously our sponsors as well. Audible.com is out there. We'll probably do a quick commercial promo at the end of the podcast about Audible.com and some of the offers they have, but obviously that would help out and go from there, help out our podcast buddies as well too in the beginning of the show that have a pretty cool podcast out there that we can help those guys too. So what do we got? What's the first fight on the agenda?
All right, I want to talk a little bit about last week's fights that were on. Okay, this fight was on Fox. Devin Alexander versus Vicious Victor Ortiz. Now, as you guys all know, Victor Ortiz, he's a classic underachiever. This is a guy who's very talented. Fast hands, strong punching, and he fought the best. And he actually did pretty well against them, but he never really succeeded in those championship bouts. He's very talented, though, and he fought Mayweather. Remember when he headbutted him and stuff,
Yeah.
and then on the break, Mayweather hit him right after the break.
He got knocked out.
He got knocked out, right. So, anyways, he fought Devin Alexander, who's been away. He had a problem with painkillers, guys, and he's been away. He was one of the tops in 147 for a while there. He fought Shawn Porter. He lost, but he was right up there. Devin Alexander. They fought pretty good fight. At the end, the last couple of rounds, I thought it was I was switching back and forth because they had the Fox fighting on, then they had it on Showtime, and I thought for sure Devin won a unanimous decision. So I switched it in the last round because Victor, I gotta say one thing for Ortiz, he was fighting, he didn't give up, he didn't show no signs of quit, he was trying, but Devin was just quicker, faster to the punch, outlanded him, and just more of an accurate fighter, more on his game. He was the better boxer that night. And to my amazement, they gave it a draw. Now, I don't know how much amazement that is in the sport of boxing. As we all know, that's one thing I don't like about boxing. They don't get it right. They do a lot of hometown cooking. They screw the results a lot. So that was another one which I saw Devin clearly won that fight. Ortiz was game. He tried. He did land some punches, but not enough clearly for a draw.
So you feel Devin won the fight?
Yes, no doubt.
Cleared. And I did watch the replay on that. I didn't watch it live. That was on Saturday night, I believe.
Correct.
I agree with you. I don't think it was a draw. I'm going to say, though, where I can justify at least what the judges, because I did think it was a little bit closer than you're saying. He beat him no matter what.
Yeah, I saw. So you know what? To be honest, I turned it in the last round. I saw they said that Ortiz won maybe the
last couple.
Yeah, the last couple.
Yeah, I think I still think Devin won, and I wouldn't have been upset if they did say that he won. But I do agree where I don't agree with. I'm with you on that one. I think that a lot of these judges, and that's how you can fix this sport, and that's what upsets me sometimes with it. Sometimes easy. They know the outcome. The boxer may not know the outcome, but they know who the specific people.
Well, unless he gets a knockout,
yeah.
So then that would rule that out.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think is the next thing that's going to happen with these guys? Though, you think they're going to do another rematch, or what? What's the payoff here?
No,
you think they're just going to let it go right there and that's it?
It could be another rematch, but I think Devin's career's got more upswing than Victor's career.
Yeah, he's sort of on the downslide.
Right, he's a little bit on the downslide. Although he did a decent showing, so he can probably go in there with another 147, and he is dangerous with his punching power. But I don't see Victor going to the top. But
yeah, not now. He's getting up there too.
Right. I mean, he had a lot of chances. So I don't know. That's one fight. And I want to talk more about the Danny Garcia fight versus Brandon Rios.
Yep.
Now, I commented a little bit about this last week. I saw Brandon Rios was going in a little too big against Danny Garcia. Now, even though Danny Garcia fought at 140 pounds for the majority of his career, he just recently went up to 147. Brandon Rios started at lightweight at 135. And at lightweight, he was very dominant. He was undefeated. He won the belt, the lightweight belt. But then when he went up to 147, he hasn't really fared as well. I mean, he fought Pacquiao. Pacquiao beat him up. I mean, Brandon Rios, I got to say one thing about him. He has all the heart in the world. He doesn't give up. And he was game. He was in good shape. He was reunited with his trainer, Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
He was reunited. He trained hard. He fought hard. But Danny Garcia is just a better boxer, bigger guy, and he has a hard punch.
I like personally Danny Garcia a lot. And if you're going to look at anyone that's, I think, up and coming, that's the guy who I'm actually interested in watching. And I try to watch all his fights. What do you think is next, though, for Danny?
Well, this is very interesting. After the fight, Shawn Porter came in the ring. He started calling Danny Garcia out.
Yeah.
He got in his face, and you seen Danny got real hot. You know, he got in his face, and even Jim Gray told him, "Get the hell out of here. This is Danny Garcia's night." You know, I don't know if he wants Shawn Porter. I think he could. I think it'll be a tough fight, but I think maybe Garcia could win. He wants a rematch with Thurman again.
Yeah,
that's who they're all clamoring.
I would like to see that.
Right, that's who they're all clamoring to fight. Porter's clamoring to fight Thurman. Garcia's clamoring to fight Thurman. Now they fought that was a close fight. Actually, Garcia, I thought, was coming on in the later rounds. Thurman won via split decision. Now, that was a close fight, though.
So who do you think, if Thurman and Garcia fought again, who do you think would win? I'm leaning Garcia now, maybe.
You know, Thurman, he came back from that
or do you think
shoulder injury or elbow injury?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what it sounds like to me, and we were talking about this before we went live on the show, is that, and I've known before in boxing that I've said a lot of it is fixed and it's sort of getting a little disgraceful in what they're doing. I personally think that they told Porter to go in there. They wanted to create, obviously boxing is a business and they need to get ratings. So I personally think they told Porter to go in there. They might have not told Gray and or Garcia about it just to see the reaction of what comes back reaction wise.
They either told him or allowed it. According to Porter backstage, I heard him talking. He said he was allowed to go in there and Jim Gray didn't know that. And
yeah,
but you know what? I do feel that it was Danny Garcia's night and he should have the mic and he should say what he wants. And I don't think,
but as a boxing federation to set up the next match, you need to make it enticing. So
I know if that gets people going.
Exactly. If you see if Garcia Porter is the next match that they're going to fight, would you want to see that now?
Yeah, I would want to see it.
And why do you want to see that?
Well, some of that is because he was in the ring.
Yeah,
no, it works.
Now
it's a good strategy.
Got a grunge and he wants to fight him. So
right.
So I personally think that's the way they're going to go. I would, though, as a fan, if who would win, Garcia Porter? That's a good fight.
That's a really good fight.
Yeah.
Porter's a bigger man. He's very aggressive. He'll come in. I like Danny Garcia as a counter puncher.
I would hope Garcia could win it, but that's a hell of a fight.
That's a hell of a fight. That can go 50-50.
Yeah. So what I would like is if Garcia did beat Porter, let's just say, then
he could.
He can go. Yeah, he could. Definitely can. Then he goes Thurman for the rematch, beats Thurman. Now you're looking at him as one of the top fighters.
Oh, for sure, no doubt. He's up there.
Yeah,
he's right up there. I mean, that's his only loss, and that was via split decision against Keith Thurman.
Yeah. So I mean,
Garcia's a good counter puncher, you know, and he punches hard. Porter could run into one of these punches because Porter comes in like a mad dog.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember against Malignaggi, he just rushed him and he kept coming in after him.
Yeah.
And Malignaggi is a very good boxer, but he didn't have the firepower that Garcia does to keep Porter away. Now, Garcia can land some of these big shots as Porter's coming in. Porter will think twice about coming in again.
You should. Do you ever listen to Malignaggi's podcast?
No, but I watch him a lot on Showtime. He's very good.
He has a podcast, which is actually pretty good.
Yes.
It would be good to have you on there too with him. No, he's pretty good. I listen to him.
Paulie's very good. He's very informative, very smart, and he knows what's happening in the ring.
Yeah.
Right. Like Roy Jones we talked about. Paulie's also very good.
Oh, speaking of Roy Jones, I don't know if he had that on the agenda. He fought his last fight, supposedly.
Right, and he won.
Yeah, and that was
a decision
2-3 weeks ago or something.
Right, correct.
Yeah, and he won. So what do you think about that?
I think he should retire, I
think he should have retired a long time ago.
Right.
But he was a great fighter, potentially one of the greatest
in the
fighters.
90s, he was untouchable.
Yeah. I mean, he was in a way like a modern day. I know he wasn't the same weight, but like a modern day Sugar Ray Leonard and stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, he was quick on his feet with his punches, fought smart. I mean, just overall, great fighter.
Amazing fighter.
I know he
great hand speed.
I know he does commentary. Do you think that he potentially might go into the training mode soon?
Oh,
do you think he would be?
You know what? He did train he co-trained John Pierre Pascal.
Oh,
yeah, he did. And he was with Ramsey.
You know how they always say, even in sports, like the greatest players never make good coaches.
Right. They say it's like usually an average player.
It's like Will Perdue ends a great coach from the Bulls, not Michael Jordan. And if Michael Jordan tries to coach,
because they had to maybe rely more on
fundamentals and stuff
than their extreme skill.
But that would be interesting if Roy Jones decides to go into training to try to take up some of these fighters. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean,
he's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of things to offer.
I'm surprised Mike Tyson hasn't tried that.
I mean, Mike Tyson is a very big fan in a school of boxing. He watches a lot of fight films.
He's humbled now, so he's not crazy like he is, but not like he used to be.
Right.
Where I think he would take his job if he trained fighters now. He would take it serious, I think. He's at that age in his life where he wants to I just want to relax,
settle down,
yeah.
Right.
And I think that if he decided to train fighters, think about it. Think how many heavyweight fighters he can grab and train and be like, nah, dude, listen, I was the smallest guy in there. I had no reach. This is how I beat him.
Right. I mean, especially if the fighter's sort of similarly built to Mike Tyson.
I mean, these are the questions sometimes I ask myself, like, how come these guys have never tried, or how come if I was a heavyweight fighter, which is at the class I would be in, I'd probably be super heavyweight if they had super heavyweights. But if I did, that's the questions I would ask myself. I would try to go Lennox Lewis, one of my favorite boxers.
Right. Lennox Lewis was great.
I would eventually, if I got to the point where I was like Wilder and I'm big in the heavyweight division,
right,
I'd be calling out Lennox, not calling out, but reaching out to Lennox Lewis or Mike Tyson and saying, hey, I want to learn from you guys. Like, would you guys
right?
be willing?
I mean, especially like Lennox Lewis, he used his size to his advantage.
Yeah, I'd be willing to pay you guys if we can sit down and negotiate something, but I want to learn from you. Would you be willing to train me for my fights going forward? And then that way you can have Lennox Lewis and your other trainer in the ringside.
But sometimes two cooks don't work out in the kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to work together.
They would have to work together.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I think that's very interesting. I think those guys got a lot of knowledge and talent to offer and a lot of advice for the younger guys coming up, especially like a guy like Lennox Lewis to Wilder, which he relied on his jab. He relied on his straight right hand. And Manny Stewart really got the most out of
these
Lennox
older
Lewis.
guys. Like, think about it. George Foreman's for his age, he's in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
And his head's all there.
Oh,
still.
Yeah.
George, all those years, he fought Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
I mean, he can be in the ring teaching heavyweight fighters now. Like, this is what I used to do when I fought Muhammad. This is what I did when I fought these fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
But like Sugar Ray Leonard's another one. Well, he makes a lot of money outside with his ventures. So I can understand Sugar Ray saying, and George Foreman too with his grill. He probably made billions off of that.
Yeah, he made a lot of money. George Foreman's one of my favorite heavyweights, one of my favorite boxers. And what he did to be off for 10 years, he stopped boxing in 1977 when he lost against Jimmy Young. He had a vision, and he stopped and he started being a reverend. Remember?
Yeah.
Right. And then in '87 he came back, and in '94. He won the world's heavyweight title, the oldest at 45 years old. I mean, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
And he fought a lot of tough dudes. He fought a lot of big guys. He didn't want to tango with Lewis or Bull, but he did fight a lot of good heavyweights. And he used his size. He was more calmer. He was more smarter. He paced himself better when he got older, and he was pretty successful, guys. Very successful.
He was one of the most popular and
that was one of the best
fighters in heavyweight.
I mean, just think of it.
When you name top 5, he's up there. You know what I mean? Muhammad Ali, obviously number 1. He may even be top 3.
Yeah, you got Muhammad Ali or the Brown Bomber.
Yeah, and then you have to sort of put Foreman in there too.
Joe Louis.
Yeah. So I mean, he's up there.
Yeah, he's up there.
Did you know the story about the Foreman grill? I know I'm
the
wealth of useless knowledge.
Right, go ahead.
You know who that was originally supposed to be? And George Foreman got it on mistake, or not mistake, but because someone else did it. So the story is that they originally wanted to go with Hulk Hogan. And the Foreman Grill people
love wrestling.
They were calling Hulk Hogan, but he wasn't picking up the phone. And it wasn't that he didn't want to pick it up. He just wasn't free at the time that day. So finally, when he freed up in the evening that same day, he finally ends up calling them back and saying, hey, I'm sorry, I was in meetings. What was going on? And they said, yeah, we were calling you because we wanted to do a grill, and we had an idea that we wanted to sort of launch, and we wanted to use your name for it and whatever. But they're like, don't worry about it. We ended up going with somebody else. Well, that somebody else ended up being George Foreman.
Wow, did that work out for him?
Call.
Wow.
And then he sold how much money of those grills. That was supposed to be Hulk Hogan. That was supposed to be not the George Foreman grill. That was going to be the Hulk Hogan grill.
Oh, wow.
So he missed out. Hogan missed out on millions too. One missed phone call.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But anyways, all right.
Okay, so we got Garcia, and I want to go a little bit more into the 147, but I want to talk about some of the upcoming fights that we have on tomorrow, okay?
Yeah, go.
And then we'll go back into a little bit into more to 147. Let's see. Garcia. Okay. Singside Soren Ria. It's hard to pronounce his name. He's a Thailand. From Thailand.
It's got to be Thailand.
Right. Versus Juan Francisco Estrada. That's going to be on tomorrow on HBO. These guys are They're like flyweights, super flyweights.
And those guys from Thailand are like kickboxers, so those guys are solid.
They're solid. They are.
Yeah.
They start out at kickboxing.
Yeah, their chins are like rocks, man. You can get a 500-year-old tree trunk and swing it at this guy's head, and he won't drop.
No, these guys are tough.
Yeah.
And you know what? He beat Chocolatito Gonzalez, where he was unbeaten. They had him on HBO as the next kingpin in the smaller weights. He's the next guy. He's gonna be pound for pound. He beat him the first time in a decision. They rematch, and Singside Soren Viside from Thailand knocked him out. I mean, he just knocked him out in the fourth round. It wasn't even a competitive fight. I like this guy. He's 31 years old. Let me tell you a little bit about the background of him. He had a real tough life. He had to walk more than 60 miles by foot to apply for a job. 60 miles.
We walked 7 miles in our life before to go somewhere, but
not 60 miles.
Yeah.
Right. He had to eat leftovers from garbage to survive. So this is really a nice story. He's 31 years old. Okay, let's see his record.
Well, it's not just that, but I think it's more that when you find people like this, no matter in boxing or in any sport, they see the opportunity that's in front of them and they're going to work harder for it because they know where they came from,
right?
And they don't want to go back.
They're going to be right. They're going to be hungry.
Yeah. So fighters that are from a background like that, and they know that if they continue to keep winning, they're going to train harder. They're going to fight harder. They're going to literally put their lives out there because they're going to be like, hey, I'm going to die in this ring because if I don't die and I lose, then I got to go back to that life that I never wanted to be.
They don't want to see that.
So, yeah, when you see that, there's a fire in those guys that they're just not going to give up.
No, they won't give up. And his record is 44-4, and some of his losses were when he was way back when. So they weren't recent losses. Okay, now his opponent also has got an interesting story, guys. Juan Francisco Estrada from Mexico. Very good fighter. Technical fighter. I seen him on HBO. He's a very good fighter. He's got 36 wins, 25 losses. I mean, 25 KOs. I'm crazy. 2 losses. Yeah. So, but get this, guys. Here's his touching, hard part of life sometimes. Estrada lost his parents at the age of 7.
Oof.
Yeah. He was raised by his aunt. Picked up boxing when he was 9. He's right. He's 27 years old. And Sorenside V-side is 31 years old. This is going to be a good fight. Sorenside V-side, he's a southpaw. He looks a little bit like a little Manny Pacquiao in there.
And when what is this on Showtime?
It's on HBO and it's tomorrow. And this is going to be a good fight. I don't really know who's going to win. Because I haven't seen Sorenside V-side fight a lot. I seen him against Chocolatito Gonzalez and Estrada. I seen him a couple times. I think it's going to be a close fight. Estrada is very technical. He's a little bit like a Mikey Garcia. He's sound, technical. He counter punches well. And Sorenside V-side, he's going to be a little more aggressive. He's a southpaw, and I don't know who's going to win. It's going to be an exciting fight, guys. If you guys like the little dudes watching them, they throw a lot of punches. They're action-packed. And these two guys punch hard. Sorenside V-side, he punches hard. He put Chocolatito on the mat. He knocked him out, and he wasn't getting up. So that's tomorrow. That's going to be good. Okay, let's see what else
is on that card.
I didn't look at the whole
I don't
card.
see anyone else that's good on that card or at least noteworthy.
Okay, let me look it up right quick. See. Let me see if I know some of these guys. Boxing. Okay, that's tomorrow. Brian Villalura, I heard of him before, but I don't know his opponent too well.
How many fights first are on that card? 3?
Well, it shows they'll probably show 2 or 3, but they'll probably show 3. It shows 5.
Yeah,
1, 2, but the other ones are dark matches where, like the wrestling, they don't show them. Okay, so that's tomorrow, guys. So tomorrow we're gonna have some good fights. Let's see what else. Okay, so I want to talk about a little bit about an upcoming fight next week, March 3rd. Let's see if this is the only one coming. We got a couple guys.
Lipinets?
No, that's not. That's I believe March 10th.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right. Okay. Cal Brock, he's coming back.
Oh yes.
I like Cal Brock.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's coming back at 154. He's fighting Sergey Binko.
When was his last fight though? Brock hasn't fought for.
No, I believe his last fight was his loss to Spence.
Yeah, and
Earl
that
Spence
was
Jr.
like 2 years ago, almost more.
Maybe a year and a half. He's been out for a while. He broke his orbital bone.
Okay. I was gonna say because he's been out for a while.
Right. Triple G broke his one side, and then Earl Spence broke the other side.
Yeah. You think he still got it though?
I think he still got it. I do. I
So-
think it's going to be a little hard uphill, but I he's very talented, and he's got heart.
It's gonna be a long fight up.
Yeah,
he's gonna get
a
back
little
in it.
bit. Yeah, and he's fighting at 154, so which is bigger, than he fought previously at 147. He fought at Triple G at the 160 limit, which was, not. I didn't like that, but I don't know. He's a fighter to watch. I don't know how good his opponent is. His record is 29-2, so we'll see. But if you guys like heavyweight fights, March 3rd.
That's
also,
what I'm looking for.
right. This is a Showtime, Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York.
Yep.
You got Deontay Wilder, 39-0, 38 KOs versus Louis King Kong Ortiz, 28-0, 24 KOs.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never been more excited for a heavyweight fight since like the Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, Galata days, like that stuff.
Right. The 90s were awesome for
Yeah,
heavyweight fights.
I was never huge on Klitschko's. I hated the both of them. Even the brother that had the belts, never liked him. They were never entertaining to me. They were very boring fighters.
Well, the fight against Joshua, Vladimir wasn't an entertaining fight.
I was
I know. Some of his fights were, but
boring, like Hopkins. I fell asleep.
yeah, I know.
And this match is finally, I mean, I know there's hype and I know they're doing it for ratings and I know they're doing all this talking back and forth and whatever, but there's some hype and it's very exciting to see that. I personally think that Wilder's going to win, and I think he's one of those guys that they're going to try to elevate in.
They are trying to elevate him. He's 32 years old. He's a big dude. He's 6'7". He's got a long reach. He's got a long right hand, real powerful. And Luis Ortiz is 6'4". He's 38, 39 years old. I think he's a southpaw. Is he in his southpaw?
Louis lefty.
Yes.
What is
right?
Wilder? What's his weight? Isn't he like?
He's pretty lean, right? And he come in like 240, 250.
I was gonna say 230, but I think
maybe 230. Yeah, he's not real heavy. Let's see. I wonder what
he's almost in a way. The reason I like Wilder is he reminds me, not fighting style, look wise, like Lennox. In a way,
a little bit.
He just doesn't have that. Like Lennox had longer reach, but I mean, not his style. Don't get me. Just the way he looks overall, just like everything. His size.
But Deontay's a little bit slimmer.
Yeah, but I mean, overall was just
right.
Like,
it's a similar type of build, long arms.
I want Wilder because I the possibilities of, I think him taking that heavyweight division and making it.
Well, they want to make the big mega fight against Joshua, so they're trying to push Wilder to win.
Yeah, and then you see that one,
and then Joshua is going to fight Parker, and then maybe those two can collide if Joshua
which
wins.
I think would be good.
But Luis Ortiz is no joke.
No, he's not, and you can't sleep on him. But here's the thing: besides Joshua and Wilder, who else do you got in the heavyweight division? That's the problem.
Right, that is a problem.
So it's just like I don't want to see. I would love to see Wilder Joshua, but I don't care any other person in the heavyweight division, and that's the problem in the heavyweights. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just.
I mean, the heavyweights haven't been really happening for a long time.
Or is it just that bigger people are scared to get in the ring with other bigger people because they'll knock your block off?
That's true. I mean, the bigger,
you hit harder.
You hit harder.
These guys might end up in the hospital. So maybe these heavyweights are like, I ain't getting in the ring with another big guy.
A lot of them are playing football and basketball. A lot of people, big guys.
And that's why you have a lot of these guys out of the UK.
Yeah.
And not out of the States, because in the UK, they don't play football. And
no,
soccer,
they're
rugby. Too big to play soccer.
Right.
They're actually too big to play rugby, too. I've never seen a 6'7" guy play rugby.
Yeah, right.
Rugby's usually stocky, short guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be an interesting fight. I want Wilder, personally. That's who I'm voting for, rooting for.
Well, he's a younger, more up-and-coming guy. He's from America, and Luis Ortiz is Cuban.
Yeah.
But he's a very good fighter, too, and I'm interested in watching that one. I really am.
It's going to be a good one.
Right. And then let's see what else we got. I got some news over here. Lenoris, they're talking about a Lomachenko fight at 135.
Yeah, that still hasn't been set though.
No.
Yeah, I've been seeing rumblings of that.
Right. And you know what else they're talking? There's a lot of rumblings on different ways I like Mikey Garcia.
Yes.
He's fighting. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mikey Garcia. He's going to be fighting in March 10th against Lipinowitz. He's from Russia, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Where is he from
he's
exactly?
one of those countries that are not Russian, or they're Russian, but they have their own name.
And he's fighting that fight at 140. Now, guys, I heard some talk that Mikey Garcia is contemplating taking on Terrence Crawford or Keith one-time Thurman, moving up to 147.
Both those would be good.
They would be, but you know what? Mikey Garcia, right? No, they would fight him.
They won't dodge him?
I don't think so, because Mikey Garcia started at 126. I think that's too big of a jump. Right, I think so.
Yeah.
Because when he fought Adrian Broner at 140, Mikey Garcia is a hard puncher at 126 and even at 135. He's a hard puncher. At 140, he hit Broner with some decent shots, and Broner took the shots. So I think he would have a little bit problems at 147 going that much up in weight, fighting these bigger guys. Now, I know Mikey Garcia believes in his technical skills, and his technical skills are great. He's fundamentally sound. His brother and his father, they taught him into boxing, but I'd rather see Mikey Garcia fight Lomachenko at 135 pounds. That's what I want to see.
And then if they win, or if Mikey wins, who does he go after that? Does he move up after that?
You know, I would have him
chasing the money.
Right. Yeah, he's chasing the money.
And that's why he wants to move up.
I mean, yeah, the bigger names are in 147. We're going to go divulge into that. The 147, there's a lot of names.
Yeah.
If he beats Lomachenko, that's a big if
now.
That's
a good payday, though, too. So him going to fight Lomachenko would be payday, but he might also
is a very big payday.
He might be scared that he knows he's going to lose that match, and if he loses, then he doesn't get any other good paydays.
Well, you know what? Mikey Garcia was talking. I heard him on some interviews, and he said he feels the strongest at 135. He says he feels good at 140, but he feels the strongest at 135. And Lomachenko also started the pro debut at 126, but he won his medals at 135. So I think both guys would be strong at 135, and I would like to see Mikey fight at the weight that suits him best. And I'm thinking it's 135. I would love to see a Lomachenko fight. I don't think Lenoris can beat Lomachenko. I think Lenoris has some good tools now. He has fast hands. He's got long arms, and he can probably give Lomachenko some problems because he is really talented. He's a great offensive fighter, Jorge Lenoris. He's really good, but his face busts up too much. It gets red quickly, and Lomachenko has got that footwork, and he moves around. And Lomachenko is one of my favorite fighters. I would have to favor Lomachenko. I think Lenoris has some moments in this fight, but I would have to favor Lomachenko if they fight at 135.
His face look like hamburger,
right? But I don't know. Right? I don't know who to favor. I think Lomachenko would be favored against Mikey Garcia, but I think it would be close.
A tip. I was just looking through stuff. Deontay Wilder has started talking crap about Luis Ortiz too, and he's saying that once a cheat, always a cheat.
Right. Well, yeah, Luis Ortiz got caught on PEDs,
the banned substances. Yep.
Right, and they postponed. Initially, they were going to fight earlier.
in there.
And
then he knocked him out in the first round. I think Wilder.
He knocked him out easy. Yeah.
So he's talking crap about that. Once a cheat, always a cheat. So
right.
That's going to be interesting. That's why I'm interested in that.
No, guys, if you guys like heavyweights, you guys want to get back into the boxing, watch this fight. It's probably going to end up in a knockout. You got two big guys, 167, 164. They punch hard. They're going to go at it. So
that fight this week too with Estrada. That's this week. Tomorrow.
Yes.
That's going to be a hell of a fight too.
That's going to be a very good fight. Yeah. It's going to be a very cool
That's a
fight.
sleeper fight.
Yeah.
I might tune into that one.
No, tune in. That's going to be an action-packed fight. I'm telling you, that's going to be a really good fight. I'm calling it. That's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a close fight.
All right, what else you got?
Okay, let's see.
Are we jumping into my favorite fight?
Pretty soon, yeah. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the 147 before we jump there. We're going to leave that guy for last, okay?
Okay.
All right. Here's I'm going to rattle off some names at 147. Keith Thurman, Errol Spence Jr., Shawn Porter, Kel Brock. He's fighting 154, but he can go down to 147. Yeah. Danny Garcia, Jeff Horn, who's a big 147. Manny Pacquiao, Jesse Vargas. He fought
Manny Pacquiao. Really?
Right.
No.
Right.
He's out.
and Louis Matisse
Mhm.
and Lamont Peterson. Okay, they were also talking couple fights. They were talking about Manny. They were talking about him and Lomachenko at 140.
Mm.
What do you think about
I
that
just
one?
think Manny needs to quit.
But-
how old is Manny now? 40.
He's like 39. Yeah.
I don't know. I think his time is up.
Yeah, his prime is gone. You're right. I mean, 10 years ago, Manny was kicking ass.
Yeah.
08, 09,
I don't think he should stay into the game.
I still think he can be dangerous at 140, maybe against the right opponent.
I'm just not interested in watching any matches with Pacquiao. I think Pacquiao's credibility and his selling.
No, he still brings it, dude. Not like before. He still brings
before, man.
No, but he still
I'm not
brings
interested in watching anything Manny anymore.
All right. I
think here's the biggest reason too. It's because just like in sports, I always look for the future. How can you sit here and watch a guy that you know is not going to have a future? What's going to happen? The guy's going to sit here and start fighting guys to win the title?
Well, you know what? He can still put on a good fight, so.
You can do a George Foreman, you think?
Yeah, he could. I mean, no, the future, you're right, but he can still put on a good fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then they were talking about either Crawford. This is what Bob Arum said. He said, you want Crawford or Lomachenko? You pick.
To who?
To Manny.
Okay.
And I think he would do better against Lomachenko because Crawford's a big dude with long arms. He's real tall. And I think at 140, if he fights
Lomachenko would whoop him.
They're both southpaw.
Yeah, I think both of them would whoop him.
I think that Manny's handlers are telling them they rather see him in against Lomachenko at 140 than at Crawford at 147. And I agree with that. I think because Manny's a little bit bigger than Lomachenko. Well, they'll be pretty close in size, and they're both southpaw. I think that would be a more intriguing fight than him to fight Terrence Crawford. I'm a Manny fan. I love Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, I used to, but it's at this point.
I know. He's not the same.
But that division is very stacked.
That division's real stacked.
Yeah.
And you know what? Earl Spence Jr., nobody's calling him out.
Yeah.
Shawn Porter went to Danny Garcia to call him out, and he also got in the face of Keith Thurman.
Yeah,
that he also got in Keith Thurman's face. Shawn Porter.
Here's a question for you: how many of those fighters are HBO, and how many are Showtime? Are they split into 50-50?
Porter, Thurman are both Showtime. So is Garcia.
See, that's the problem, and I've said this before.
And so is Spence.
Yeah. But that's the problem. You can't see some of these fights because these guys, HBO and Showtime, can't agree.
No, but these guys are on the same network.
No, those guys are. But there's a lot of other fights you'd want to see that are HBO Showtime.
Yeah, right. I know.
That ain't going to happen. And that's why I mean, like, boxing needs to stop. Because in my opinion, there's no IBF, there's no WBC, there's no WBO. It's HBO and Showtime. That's it. You've got Showtime fighters and HBO fighters. And the Showtime fighters won't fight the HBO fighters because they can't agree on a payout or whatever. Now that we can talk about another subject, I think now, did you hear, and I don't know who's heading it, I didn't do any of the research, I just heard about it, and I didn't have time to read, but I want to do research on this for possibly the next show. Did you hear that the Boxing Association is finally considering abolishing all of the federations and naming one?
No.
So I heard this about a week ago, and I think it was on ESPN. They're coming together, and I think with all the heads of the WBO, IBA, IBF, like all of them. And apparently, I never knew this. There's like 11 different federations in boxing, like in the States and abroad in other countries. They're coming together so that they can either vote unanimously on one leader, like a president, and they would basically, I forgot, World Boxing. It wasn't it wasn't WBA, WB. I forgot what it was, but I think it was Professional Boxing Association, PBA.
Oh, PBC
championships.
Yeah, PBC. Yeah.
And they were thinking of they're going to name it to one. They would name one president, and then it would be one title per class. So no more of this, hey, this guy's the IBF champ, this guy's this champ, or this guy's this champ. Now, if they do that, God bless them. That's a baby step to fixing boxing. The next step after that is they have to start making that association has to start saying now, you guys have to make it mandatory. I can care less what network you fight for. If you're number one, if you're the champ and you're the number one contender, the number one contender fights the champion. I don't care if you're Showtime and I don't care if you're HBO.
Right.
And if you don't fight, then you can't fight in my federation. Go figure out what you're going to do other than that.
Yeah.
And think about it. If you enforce rules like that, it's almost like soccer, how I said before with soccer. When players are selected for the World Cup, they have to go. If you don't go because UEFA and FIFA talk with each other, because UEFA is an organization, they can actually go back to their professional team and tell their professional team he is banned from playing in any league in this world if he does not play. And then that way it forces the players to play. And they play their best at it as well, too. So until boxing does this and makes one federation where that's where you can only make your money, and then from there, and then hopefully they can put their, I mean, hopefully some of these old guys that are running this stuff can figure out and say, for the future of boxing and for others to make money off of this, we need to do this because it's falling apart. Then that way, if you do that, then stop this whole Showtime HBO thing and say, these are the fighters. That's it. I don't care. If you guys are going to sit here and fight about it, then you know what? That federation then should name a channel, like let's say ESPN, and say, if you guys can't agree on something, then I'm going to put the fight on ESPN. And then you guys can all go to hell. But we'll see what happens. That's my rant.
Yeah, no, that's...
All right.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what else we got going on. I think let's talk a little bit about the training for Canelo.
Uh-oh.
Okay, we're going to talk more about this fight. We're just salivating a little bit, right? So Canelo, he's going to make a change in his training camp. I don't know if you heard this.
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to Colorado to train in the high altitude. As we all know, in the first fight, Canelo only fought 45 to 60 seconds a round. That wasn't enough, in my opinion. I saw Triple G won the fight. I thought Canelo had
so too.
Right. I thought Canelo had his moments, and I thought Canelo did well in certain spots of the fight. And I thought it was a pretty close fight because I thought Canelo landed the more telling punches, but it just wasn't enough. So I'm glad to see he's making a change. That's the first step in solving your problem, is recognizing you have a problem. So he did. He's going to go to high altitude, and he's got to train for more stamina. He's got to be able to at least fight 2 minutes around, a minute 30 around, at least close to 2 minutes around. A lot better than what he put in the first showing, which was only a minute around. So he's going to start March 3rd and March 4th for his fight, which is taking place May 5th in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Center. Okay, against Triple G. Now, Triple G is always in shape. He fights at Big Bear in high altitude in California. The Oscar De La Hoya used to train there. It's nice. It's peaceful. It's in the mountains. It's trees, forest, and it's very high altitude. What that does is there's not much oxygen there, so your body gets used to very efficient. So when you come down, it gets used to,
it's better.
It's better for you.
It's better for recovery too.
It's better for recovery, and it's better. Your body gets used to.
Yeah, you don't lose your wind as quick. You have better stamina.
No, when you come down, right? Because there's more oxygen down. In training in that high altitude, there's not much air. There's not much oxygen up there, and your body has to acclimate itself to get used to that.
Yeah.
So a lot of boxers do that, and I'm glad to see Canelo is, because he normally trains in San Diego. You know what? Sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone. You
do. And the people that are around you got to get away from some of these people just so that you get in your element to train. I think, like I said before, I agree. I think Triple G won the first fight, but they gave it a draw. Then I think this fight, Canelo is, like, you obviously see it now, he's going to put his heart into training. And I think he knows deep down inside, and I think people in his camp are telling him, hey, you got lucky on this and you got that draw. He beat you. And
right.
I guarantee you, people that are close to him, if I was his trainer, I wouldn't publicly say this.
No,
I'd
of course
be saying
not.
it in the closed room with him or when we're training. Dude, he beat you. I don't care what they said. He beat you. And unless you give your heart right now and you train your ass off, he's going to beat you again. So I would light that fire up in my fighter, so my fighter trains his ass off and he gets prepared to fight like a Mike Tyson. Like a guy that's going to be 7 times heavier than Triple G and quicker and whatever. So then that way, when he gets in that ring, I think Canelo is going to have his number. Now,
I think so too. I think it's going to be a tough fight for Triple G. Canelo's 10 years younger.
Yeah,
he's like 26. Triple G is going on 36. That's a big difference.
And Triple G might have a big head. We'll see.
No,
He might be like, oh man, he was easy. I don't think he was.
I
that
don't think
hard.
he was easy for him. I really don't.
I
Watching
don't-
that fight, I mean, Canelo landed some heavy shots, and Canelo was able to stand up to Triple G's
I want to
shots.
see closer to the fight, but I don't know. I would not be shocked if this ends in like a 4-round knockout and Canelo wins.
You never know. I mean, Canelo punches
Either
hard.
way, here's the bottom line.
I don't know about 4 rounds.
Either way, and this is why they did this a draw, and this was a fix by the governing body that told the judges to make this a fix. No matter who wins or loses this match, what happens after this match?
I don't totally agree with that. A rematch? No. If it's one-sided, if it's a one-sided win, especially if Triple G just dominates Canelo,
if
it's not a rematch.
So if Triple G goes in there and he doesn't fight, you don't think he's going to fight another time?
Not if he dominates him. No,
then people will question him and say, "Oh, you got a draw and you beat him once and you're running away. Give him another chance."
Okay, if it depends. If he knocks him out quick, I mean, you never know because it was a draw the first time. It depends on the fight go. But based off the first fight, if it wasn't a competitive fight, if it was one-sided, I don't think they would do rematch.
I think no matter who wins or loses this fight, they're going a third one. And that's just the way it's going to be. This is going to be the modern day trilogy.
It could be. No, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm saying the outcome of the fight matters.
We got to do a
not
bet
the
on
outcome.
This.
How the outcome.
We got to do a bet on this.
Okay, what's your bet?
I don't know. We'll figure something out.
All right.
We'll say something like, "Hey, if I win, then you got to wear something funny on the show for the entire show."
That's cool. And guys, you know what? I want to talk about this. Not too much, but this undercard. David Lemieux.
This is on the Canelo fight.
Right. They're talking about signing this. I don't know if it's made 100%. But David Lemieux versus Gary Spike O'Sullivan. I saw Gary Spike O'Sullivan fight before. He says he claims to have some lineage to O'Sullivan, the fighter back when. So anyways, he's a this is phone ring. Okay. He's a big guy. I don't know if you guys seen Lemieux's fight against Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders stayed on his bicycle and outboxed Lemieux, and Lemieux couldn't really get at him. Spike O'Sullivan is a different fighter. He's one who will come at you, who will try to wear you down on the ropes. So if you guys want to see an action fight, this is going to be an action fight. Both of them are going to be there to get hit. That's
going to be a good card.
That's going to be a good card if they do that one. Because they were talking at one time with David Lemieux versus Canelo.
Yeah, but that's not signed yet.
Oh, that's not signed yet.
No, the Lemieux fight.
No, that's not signed yet.
Yeah, that's not official, but I agree. If they do that,
that's going to be an exciting fight.
Yeah.
Right, that's going to be an exciting fight, guys. I'm telling you. O'Sullivan, I only seen him one time, and he just stayed in the pocket and just kept coming after us and pulling it until he finally knocked him out. He was on HBO, and I seen that fight, and he won via knockout. And Roy Jones was commentating. And he says, I don't like how this kid looks. It was a young kid in there. I don't like how he looks. I don't like what he's doing. He's trading in there with some, and freaking Roy Jones had his crystal ball and he can see what's going on because he's been in there. He's been there and he's done that. And sure as shit, a couple rounds later, O'Sullivan knocked this guy out. And the other guy seemed more talented. He had faster hands and stuff, but he fought the wrong fight. Now, Lemieux and O'Sullivan, they both want to mix it up. So this is going to be a real exciting fight. But about Canelo fight, we're going to talk about this more. Hopefully, we get Sammy on here because I want to hear what he has to say about this. He's a big Triple G fan, as I am. But like I said, initially for the first fight, I don't know. Who'd you favor? Who did you think was going to win when they fought the first fight, Big Nick?
Triple G.
I also saw Triple G.
And the reason I was going to say Triple G is because he never really fought big fighters and he didn't have big names. So I think Canelo wasn't prepared for that. And I think that they were going to think this kid's a skinny kid. Yeah, he's quick and I can see it, but he's never fought really good talent. And Canelo, I think, had a big head on his shoulder thinking, yeah, I'll just train a little hard and then I'll get in there and I'll still beat him. And I think he got in there and he realized, oh, shit, this guy's pretty fucking good.
Right.
And to the point where he was like, okay, he's maybe quicker than I am now. And I'm getting hit. And he's like, Jesus, I can't. And I think he shocked Canelo. And I truth beat him on that first one. But because obviously everyone wants to make money into this, and they're going to make it into 3, just like every other sport. They want to make as much money as they can. I think now, like I was saying, Canelo's going to be like, all right, this kid ain't going to surprise me. Now I'm going to flip the table. I'm going to work even harder. My punches are going to be even harder. I'm going to be quicker. My stamina is going to be huge. I'm going to shock Triple G this time around. And I think that's what
you think Canelo's going to win this time around.
I think he's going to win because he's going to put a lot of time, and you obviously see with what he's doing with his training.
He's going to Colorado.
Yeah.
He's going to train tonight.
He's going to train really hard. I mean,
8 weeks.
I would not be surprised, and I'm interested to see because they're probably going to do that. You know how they usually do the
24/7s.
Yeah. You think they'll do something like that?
I
for
think
this fight?
so. I think so. They have to.
It's a big fight.
Yeah, it's a big fight.
So I'm going to be interesting to watch that when
Me
they're
too.
going up to
Me
it.
too. I love that
Because I guarantee you, Canelo is going to be in the best shape of his life for that fight. He's going to look lean. He's going to be like thinner. I mean, he's going to be quicker. I mean, this kid is going to be a beast. I think, honestly.
Well, that's the biggest flaw in Canelo's game is his stamina.
Yeah,
he always had problem with stamina. So he's going to need to bring it, like I said, at least 2 minutes.
Trainer?
The Reynoso, Eddie and Chapo Reynoso. They're a father and son team from Mexico. They've been with him since he was a kid.
Yeah, I think
you know they're not. They're not. Yeah, they're not.
You know, what
they're
I
not
was
like
thinking?
a huge names.
Can you imagine Freddie Roach?
Yeah, I know, different, bigger name, more sparring partners, a little change, and
yes,
I know you were thinking that, and I was kind of thinking it too. I thought that sometimes.
Imagine
too.
Freddie Roach with Canelo, man.
He's got a lot of, in the LA wild card gym. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see.
But
Freddie Roach is huge, though. I mean,
yeah. No, I mean, I think it's going to be, we'll talk, like I said, we'll talk more about this fight. But as of what I saw given off of the first fight,
it's going to be good.
I'm going to favor Canelo a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
As of right now. So anyways, I don't know.
That's it.
I'm pretty much done. I'm done.
We're trying to
how about
keep
you,
it to an hour? Yeah, that's all I got. We want to try to keep this to an hour at least.
I hope you guys like the show.
57 minutes. Perfect.
Okay. I hope you guys like this show. We can recap the fights. Tomorrow's fights next week.
Yeah, we'll recap them too. So when we do our CSCR show, we'll probably recap them towards the end as well too. And then we'll obviously do, for the bigger fights, we'll probably end up doing standalone 1 hour shows or something.
Yeah, and you guys, please tune into this boxing show and tell us what you want to talk about. Tell us the fighters you're interested in and the fighters you want to hear and the topics you want to hear, because we'll be happy to oblige you that. We do this show because we like talking about sports. We like talking about boxing, but we also would like to talk about what you, the fans, want to listen to.
Yeah, if you guys want anything or want to ask us any questions or opinions, obviously you can go into the chat room. For people who are listening to us on podcast versions and they're like, well, what is this guy talking about, chat room? We do have a YouTube channel that we go live. So we usually go live on Fridays at 7 p.m. So live at 7 p.m. on our YouTube channel. YouTube channel is Windy City One Word Sports Network, and you can catch us on here live. When we're on our live show, like we are right now, you can actually go in our chat room and ask us any questions you want. If not, you can actually just send us an email at windycitysportsnetwork@gmail.com or on any of our social media. And then we usually post that we're going to go live on that day when we're going to do a show. That way you guys can send us questions on our social media. That way we can sit down and we'll actually tell the question and answers and give you guys the answers for it. So, but it's huge. We want to interact, and we want interaction from you guys as well to make sure you ask us so we can give you guys our opinion. But it's huge to make sure that you go on our YouTube channel and you guys can watch us and go from there. And you guys can even leave comments on each video. We'll actually look back at those comments, and then we can answer them on the next show as well too, if that's what you guys like to do. But subscribe. That would be awesome, please. What else, Jackman? We missed Bo.
Yeah, we miss Bo on the boxing show.
He'll be back, though.
He'll be back.
He might be here. I'm thinking he'll be here next Friday, I think.
Yeah. Good.
So we'll catch up with him on next Friday.
All right, guys. I had fun again, Big Nick, and I hope you guys liked the show.
All right.
Peace out and be safe, Chicago.
We will be back next week. We've got WTR on Wednesday. Yes, because Elimination Chambers this Sunday. So we will be back on Wednesday, me and Wild Bill for WTR. Some big thing. Ronda Rousey is going to be at Elimination Chamber signing her contract, and I potentially think we'll be setting up a WrestleMania match. Then we will be back for CSCR. We will talk boxing and cover up the fight for tomorrow that's coming up, and we'll go over the happenings in sports and what's going on in Major League Baseball, which we'll have a full week of games in for Major League Baseball. So we'll see some of these pictures and stuff. Local DJ guys. So the music you're hearing right here is Lasco. His name, the spell, you can search him on SoundCloud. Lazcaux. Local guy in the city of Chicago. Great music. You can go on SoundCloud, listen to some of his music. And he will be busting a new track on March 10th. And it'll be on Spotify and Apple Music, iTunes. So check them out, guys. We will see you next week. Top Guys out.
It's not like before. It's really not my style. It's not like me to be so foolish. I haven't in a while. Was it something that you did? Is it something in my mind? I don't know what it is. That's got me.